Pollster Frank Luntz recently hosted a focus group with Gen Z voters, ages 18 to 24 from around the country. I want to show you what they had to say about capitalism versus socialism. It's eye-opening.
Socialism, because I think, frankly, capitalism is destroying our planet, where shareholders are going after profits at the expense of our environment, at the expense of the lives of humans.
Ultimately, capitalism is what makes America, so sought after. It's why everybody wants to come here and not the other way around.
Capitalism encourages the exploitation of people. I think capitalism supports people who are already at the top.
I'm actually the son of Cuban refugees, so I understand firsthand how the dangers of socialism, and specifically its link to authoritarianism, can really destroy a country.
Joining us right now is pollster and political strategist Frank Luntz. He was the one who conducted that focus group, and it was pretty remarkable. I watched a large portion of it. Were you surprised by the language?
The language, I was surprised. I was not surprised about the conclusion. Young people are always to the left. But when they use a word like exploitation, when they talk about corruption or greed, those send off bells to me. And I'm warning Washington, D.C., that all this anger and all this frustration with the economy, no, it's not good. No, it's not working for them. And you better pay attention to this, because these young people are not just writing off politicians. That's the easy thing to do.
But here's the question then. Is the answer, when you say the government needs to be watching, right, that folks in Congress and the Senate need to be watching, there is a view among some, which is that to make it work for the American people better than it is today, the answer isn't necessarily capitalism per se, but it is, and it may be even more socialistic perspective, which is that we need to get more money into the hands of these people. And the question, of course, is how do you do that?
Well, the key for them is that road, that opportunity, that direction. And all they're asking for is a fighting chance. And if they see Washington behaving in such ways to deny them that chance, to tax them so much, to regulate those so much, the litigation, all these things that are happening to capitalism is undermining our faith, our trust, and our confidence.
Is that what you found, though, in the focus group itself?
In the focus group itself, they want to know that it is a level playing field. So basically, they want to take us back. I hate to use the phrase, but Reaganomics, take us back to the 1980s, 1990s, when people had a chance to move ahead. They had a chance to invest. They admire entrepreneurs. They admire small business owners, family businesses they admire. The big corporations, not so much.
Right.
And I wish that the business community also paid attention.
When Reagan said that only one generation at a time can understand that capitalism is what works, and we can't pass it down through our genes to our next generation.
Well, we have to teach it, and that's the
what
problem.
I mean. That's what he said. And
in our schools, they're not in colleges now. They teach socialism. They tell the students that you're not getting a fair shake.
Do they teach what socialism? Now, socialism and communism are not the same thing, but sometimes one results in the other. That usually results in about 10 or 50 million people dead. I mean, we've tried this.
Well,
we haven't done it right yet? Is it the same old excuse? We've tried socialism, we just haven't done it right yet, right?
No, because I'm separating the politics. That's easy to get agitated. I don't
want to get agitated.
This is
just
the
had 2
core
weeks
of
off.
our economy.
Let's show, because this speaks to some of this. Let's show the audience this. You asked a question about what America needs more of, meritocracy or equality. And I thought that was actually an interesting thing. A majority said they would choose equality. Take a look at this.
Meritocracy has its place, and I think that people are often rewarded for how hard they work, but I don't think equality is the right word. Maybe we should be talking about a third option, which is equity, because equality, I think, involves bringing some people down and raising others up, whereas if we get everybody up just to the same starting place, then we really could have a shot at meritocracy being very fruitful for people.
I think we can thrive under a meritocracy, but I think it's inherently not fair if we were to do that at the place we are now. Everyone needs to be at the same starting point.
That's an interesting conundrum, because we are all not at the same starting point, and the chances of that ever happening, I think, are nil.
Exactly, and that's the challenge here. Our country is based on the idea that you do more, you get more. You do better, you make better. And this is challenging that exactly. In the end, I look at this as an entire generation that's been educated to have resentment, to have a sense of denial, and it's now coming true in how our young people respond.
Let's show everybody the final question that you asked this group, and it is this. You asked, I don't know if we can flip that board back again before we go, because we do want to show that. I don't know if the folks who have that videotape can put that in the prompter there for us. But the question, if I recall it, was about democracy and the role of democracy, and really whether democracy is in danger, effectively, of failing. Let's show that.
A lot of it stems from the fact that we're constantly fighting with each other, and we're not even trying to solve the issues that everyone sees. Our democracy is not going to continue to stand if we continue to fight the party lines.
I think about like January 6th, when we're talking about like politicians straight up lying to people about election fraud, things that are critical to our democracy, the foundation of America, making those things unstable, making it so that we question, have faith in our election system. I think that is extremely dangerous. I think that is dangerous to the very core of our democracy.
I trust them. These are not dumb people. In fact, I think they're very articulate. I may disagree with them, but they're hostile. Right. And the things I'm looking at right now, and you and I were talking off air about the Minnesota Timberwolves. Here's a great example. The owner sells the team to a new people. Right.
Mark Lohr, for those who don't know, who sold his business originally to Walmart, also A-Rod.
And that new owners have done a fantastic job. By 20%, which is a huge number, the fans want the new owners to own the team. Right. And yet the old owner is saying, oh, no. Now that we're doing well, I want the team back. That's crap. And I'm using very careful language here. This is why people have come to distrust capitalism, when they've come to distrust the system. Right. Because the old owner thinks he can steal it back. He's going to try. And the fans are saying no way. So my question to people watching right now, are you paying attention? Are we going to make sure that the system works for everybody? And do you believe in some sense of integrity and honesty, that when you make a commitment, you follow through?